Hello, welcome to this video series on SLF4J and logging framework. In these sessions, we will explore the common challenges that arise from using multiple Java logging frameworks and see how SLF4J helps solve them. We will also dive deeper into the mechanics of adding logging libraries to your class path, learn how to configure different frameworks, and discuss what you need to consider when releasing your code as a library. There is a lot to cover, so instead of cutting down on depth, we will split the topic into multiple sessions. Let's get started. In this is one of the challenge which I have named as jar hell, and here it is a software which you are trying to build and you want to use Logback as logging library or logging framework, but your application use another library or jar written by someone else, developed by someone else, and let's call it JSON Util library. It uses log4j to as logging. There's another library which is I've named it HTTP pool, and this use Java Util Logging for doing its logging. So now you want to use this library in your application, and you want to use this HTTP pool library in your software, and you yourself want to use Logback. So now if you want to run your application and you want to see nicer and cleaner logs for your software as well as for the loggers which are added inside these libraries. Okay, so to make it work generally, you might need to add a lot of libraries related to log4j, libraries related to Java Util Logging, or if any other framework you are using, right? And of course, Logback. So in such situations, you will have too many jars on your class path and not sure if they will conflict because of something or not. Okay, but for sure, this is a hell. Second challenge, let's say you are able to figure out what are the libraries you need to add on your class path just to make sure your code as well as the library loggers work fine. But there might be inconsistent logging. Inconsistent how? Maybe the format is different. For example, if you see here main is first and then info and this class name here, right? And if you see in this logger here info is first, main is later, and you do not see the complete package name, although the logger is the same. So different libraries give different types of output. So if there is a line which is inside your code, that will give different type of formatting than the code which is inside your library, inside another jar which you are using another framework. Okay, so there might be inconsistent in logging. Let's say you are able to figure out a way how to make the loggers same, you can format them, but then there are different ways to configure different framework. So for example, if your library using log4j 2 and you want to configure something in your library logs, then log4j2.properties is one of the way of configuring log4j2 framework. Same way, logging.properties is used for configuring another framework. If you want to use logback, then logback XML is used for configuring your logback framework. Not just XML, you can use other extensions just for example, but idea is you might have different ways to configure. But in an application, you do not want to have actually so many type of property files to configure just the logging, right? So that's why this is a challenge and not easy to migrate also sometimes. For example, you remember log4 shell problem. This is the CVE number. It has, created problem in the whole world. Everyone wanted to go away from log4j to something else, but were stuck. Few were able to migrate. Few might not have already using the log4j2, but yes, if you were using log4j2 and you wanted to migrate, so it might not be easy to migrate in such scenarios. So thanks to this guy, and I don't know the right pronunciation, so I just don't want to speak the name. I might end up speaking it wrong, but yes, this guy has done a lot of work around the logging, Java Util Logging, log4j2. So this guy has built this, SLF4J. It has done a lot of work around SLF4J, And what is SLF4J? It's a framework which takes away a lot of problems, a lot of challenges which we talked about, right? And SLF4J, it was created by this guy, and it is an alternative to Jakarta Commons logging framework research. And in 2013, it was launched. And if you go by this statistics, 30.7% of the projects are using it, right? So this is good, but what is SLF4J? We will talk about it, but first I want to talk about how SLF4J can help. So SLF4J interfaces let libraries use their preferred logging framework, avoiding jar conflicts. Instead of libraries, you can say applications. So if you use SLF4J APIs in your application for logging, you can switch the logging framework. Okay, don't worry, we will cover everything in detail. And yes, I already talked about it. Help you switch your logging frameworks very easily. It provides SLF4J migrator. How it helps? So if you want to, if you are not using SLF4J APIs, if you are using something else and you want to move to SLF4J, so this migrator helps, and it is bridging the gap between legacy APIs. So for example, you want to use SLF4J, and there are libraries which are using another frameworks, and so it bridges the gap. Don't worry, we will see practical examples to understand more about the bridging legacy APIs problem. Okay, so maybe let me zoom it in. I think I'm not able to. Okay, so I'll try to focus here. So what is SLF4J? It is simple logging facade for Java, SLF4J. Okay, how it works? So basically it serves as a simple facade or an abstraction. Okay, and then with SLF4J, if you want to use a logging framework, if you want to use, yes, you can choose a logging framework of your choice. You can use Java Util Logging, or you can use Logback, Log4j, etc. And it's simple. You can simply plug in these frameworks with the SLF4J. And if you do not want to use any framework, that's perfectly fine. You can continue without a logging framework, right? So that's how the SLF4J, I mean, it's very high level, but it gives an idea that SLF4J is an API which you use in your code base, and you can plug in different frameworks to it. Okay, so for example, if you have already decided to use SLF4J, that's great. Now you need to add a dependency in your class path, SLF4J API.jar. So you need to add SLF4J API library. Once you add, it's the same thing. So you have a logging framework in your mind. If yes, choose your logging framework, any framework, Java Util Logging, Logback, Log4j, anything, and you add that, you configure that framework. So for example, if you are using Log4j, you need to configure the Log4j. You need to use the configuration files which work for Log4j, right? So that's what it means by configuring the framework. And yes, you are good to go. Implement your logging in your code, and SLF4J is set up, so it will work perfectly fine. But if you do not have a logging framework in your mind, is logging framework available on the class path? If something is already available, yes, it will work, right? You need to proceed with that logging configuration. I mean, if something is already on the class path, you can simply switch to here, configure logging framework, or if it is already on path, it might be already configured. Okay, but if there is nothing in your mind, okay, just SLF4J will default to no operation implementation, no logging will be performed. So your application, your library will not throw the problems, even if you add some loggers, but nothing will be logged out to a file, but it will not break, right? So how further it can help? If you have different APIs or different libraries which are using different logging frameworks in your application. So this is the application, right? And in your application, you are using SLF4J API.jar, and you want to use logback with this SLF4J API. So SLF4J API, and then you need to use a logging framework. So here in this application, you are using Logback as a framework. But what about the libraries which are using other logging frameworks? So there are some jars, some libraries, or I should call them mechanisms, where you can route the logs printed by those libraries to the SLF4J APIs. So I call them the bridge libraries. They are bridging your legacy framework or the framework which is used in your libraries. And what will happen? Everything which your libraries want to log, they will be routed to the SLF4J API, and you are using Logback as a framework. So you just configure your application the way Log4J framework, Logback framework needs to be configured. You need not to worry about configuring all these. You need not to worry about configuring or the adding all the jars to the your application. So your application remains very simple thanks to these bridge libraries. And these bridge libraries are available for different scenarios. Here you can see for commons logging API, JCL over SLF4J.jar is present. If you are using Java Util Logging API, it's Joule to SLF4J.jar, right? So here, okay, I will add the link in the description. So if you can see, zoomed view of this image, this is a simple screenshot of the migrator. You run this tool, it help you move from one framework to SLF4J, from Jakarta Commons to from Log4j to SLF4J, from Joule is Java Util Logging framework, and it do a lot of changes in your application. Not that super complex stuff, but yes, it's good to use and simple to use, right? And of course, so when you use SLF4J, you can see such type of APIs in your class. So here, if you see logger factory, get logger. So these, this SLF4J libraries, they are able to work with any framework, right? So whether you use log4j2, you use logback, these imports here and this line is not going to change, and which gives you a lot of flexibility, right? If there is a problem with the log4j and you want to switch to logback, okay, just change the libraries, right? You need not to change anything at the level of code. Maybe just the configuration file you change, and that's it. And to keep the session short, I will do a hands-on demo in the next session. Stay tuned, and in this session we will set up a basic Spring Boot. We will add some loggers, we will change the logger configuration, and we will see what are the log4j dependencies or what are the logger dependencies which are added on the class path in the Spring Boot by default, and maybe how we can change them. Okay, so thank you. Have a good learning.